Hey, it's Zena Krogodal. We're here with VA Rep Prescott Chapter, and we are delivering Christmas gifts to veteran families tonight. And tonight we have a very special guest. It is Santa Claus. So he's going to read the Polar Express to you all. So let me turn the camera around so you guys can listen to the Polar Express. Here we go.
How many of you have read this book before? The Polar Express? Yeah. What do you remember about it? Nothing. Well, there's a train, and it goes to the North Pole. Well, the Polar Express.
You'll be able to see the picture I got. Thanks! Oh, we found a chair. I don't blame you.
Now, I personally like the book a little bit better than the movie. The movie takes a little bit more liberties with the story, but I like this one quite a bit. Gotta get the frogs out. They like to jump in there when you're not talking. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear, the ringing of Santa's bell. Have any of you ever heard my bells before?
Yeah.
Probably heard a little bit of it. Oh, there's one. There is no Santa, my friend said. But I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear the sound, not of ringing bells. From outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window, and I saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. The train in front of the house. Quite a feat if you've ever been in that neighborhood before. You ever see a train on your main road before? I guess you're not listening hard enough. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars, and he took out a large pocket watch from his vest. Something kind of like this. This actually was a pocket watch, but as you see, I lose things, so the elves made this for me so I didn't lose it all the time. I was losing a lot of pocket watches with my vest. Now I get to wear it on my wrist. Sometimes it's a little obnoxious, though. Any of you ever used a pocket watch before?
I haven't.
You want to know something about flying on a sled? In the cold, your batteries get sucked up. So this watch here doesn't have any batteries. Yeah, I just have to be reminded by the elves to wind it once in a while so I can change it to the right area when I'm traveling around. All right. Let's see. I tiptoed downstairs and out the doors. All aboard! The conductor cried out. I ran to him. Well, he said, are you coming? Why? Where? I asked. Why? To the North Pole, of course. This was his answer. He took out. I took his outstretched hand and went aboard. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and we ate candies with nuggets centered as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of town and the villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. I like the song of the movie, though.
The movie.
Ha, ha, ha. Who likes it? Ha,
Guess
ha.
what? The movie.
So, I have a Santa Claus.
You have a Santa Claus teddy? Oh, very nice.
I did.
And soon there were no more lights to be seen, and we traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from the train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. Oh, there's some snow-capped mountains.
Yeah.
Mhm. We climbed the mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over the peaks and through the valleys like a car on a roller coaster. Any of you been on a roller coaster ride before? Yeah. Sometimes the sled feels like a roller coaster ride, but I have to wear glasses like this, so that way I don't fall off.
Yeah, like, what if you go like this and you go? That's how you got it. If you go like this, the guys will go.
Yeah, that's how you put them on, that's for sure. I'm about to do this with you. The mountains turned into hills, and the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice and the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance, and they looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on the frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. You can see here in the corner of the picture. The North Pole. It was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. They're gathering at the center of the city, said the conductor. That's where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Well, I'll be there at the center, but these are actually going to be your first gift of Christmas tonight. We're close enough, though. We're in the week. We're in solstice. All right. Where did I leave off? Who receives the first gift of Christmas? We all the children asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Look, shouted one of the children, the elves. Outside we saw hundreds of elves as our train moved closer to the center of the North Pole. We slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go on no further, we stopped, and the conductor led us outside.
That's you.
Yeah, but I like to dress all my employees in the same colors as me.
Yeah.
But you must like red. But you took off your.
Some would say it's my favorite.
That was me.
We pressed through the crowd to the edge of the large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sled. The reindeer were excited, and they pranced and paced, ringing the silver sled bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound, like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us, pointing to me, and said, "Let's have this fella here." He jumped into his sled, and the conductor hauled me up, and I sat next to Santa on his knee. Now, what would you like for Christmas? I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's great bag. What I wanted more than anything was one of the silver bells from Santa's sled. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told one of the elves to cut a bell from the reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa, and he stood holding up the bell high above him, and he called out, "This is the first gift of Christmas." A clock struck midnight, and the elves roared their approval. And Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sled, and Santa shouted out the reindeers' names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and circled once above us, then disappeared into the cold, dark polar sky. Here's the tragedy of the story, if anyone remembers. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus' sled. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," said one of the children. But the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving, and we were on our way home.
Do you see one?
Oh,
That's okay. Here, buddy.
It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children, and I stood at the doorway and waved goodbye. And the conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. "What?" I yelled. He cupped his hands around his mouth. "Merry Christmas!" The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away.
I almost got him.
On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was a silver bell. There was a note. "Found this on the seat of my sled. Fix the hole in your pocket." Signed, Mr. C. I shook the bell, and it made the most beautiful sound my sister and I ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I had shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell rings for me as it does for all those who truly believe. And as a gift tonight, with I have actually brought all children tonight their own goodie bag of hotel. But your parents would appreciate it if I didn't give you the candy before you ate dinner. So after you eat your dinner, you can come get your candy bag from me. Emily. What is
Well, dinner is here. Is everybody ready to eat some dinner? Let's do it.
We have a young man's jacket over here.
Yes.
That'll be cool. No, that would be amazing.
All right, guys. So that was fun with the Santa reading the Polar Express. So we are absolutely just excited that these families can come and enjoy this evening with us. And these are our veteran families that the Prescott chapter has been able to provide Christmas for the families through the donations of the Prescott community. So I am going to turn this camera around here in just a little bit, but just to kind of give you a little background, I am Zena Krogodal, the president of the VA Rep Prescott chapter, and it is so exciting that we get to truly be able to deliver Christmas gifts to our veterans that are in need with their family. They're having some difficulties in this holiday season, and so through the donations of the Prescott community, we were able to provide Christmas gifts for our families here, and so it is a great time. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors that were able to help and assist us. Gail McCarthy of APM of American Pacific Mortgage, and also to Drake's Title, and also to Yavapai Title, and Heather Hill, and various donations. Also Stone Ridge, thank you so much for donating to allow this to happen this evening. So we are just so blessed, and we've got just a room full of people celebrating Christmas, and these kids are having a lot of fun. So I'm going to turn the camera back around so you can see what's all going on here. So you can see we've got some crafts happening. And then Santa's getting his place ready so we can deliver the gifts. But you can see the presents we've got under the tree. These are all for the children that are here. There's also more. And you can see we've just got a lot of people here celebrating and having a great time.
I've talked about you guys, but not with names, because I always talk about my tissue. Well, the confidentiality.
Yeah.
You like rice?
And we got some yummy food. Smells so good. And we got a hot chocolate bar. So thank you, Prescott, for your generosity. We were able to really bless these families. So I will say goodbye for now because I want to chit chat with everybody, and we'll chat later.